Hey guys, how's it going? If you don't know me, my name is Leanna and I live on a 37-foot catamaran entirely teak, single-handedly by myself. And I'm priming and painting my roof, which hasn't been done in 10 years. I got the boat from an amazing person who hand built and crafted it. So one of the first things he said to do was definitely paint the roof. So today I'm going to show you guys how I do that and the process of how to paint a roof, especially if it's a wooden boat, because wooden boats are different than fiberglass. So to start, we're going to be using some blue dye chem. Blue dye chem is used to help sanding. It kind of tells you how far you're going in, if it's too far, and when the majority of the blue disappears, that's how you know you've sanded enough. So we're going to take a little bit of this blue dye and make sure you wear gloves. What's cool about this is if you spill it, just use acetone to clean it up. It comes right off. So don't fret if you get the blue dye on your boat. So the directions say 1 part of the dye chem, and most of it is going to be denatured alcohol. So we're just going to mix this all together. So we've got that mixed, and I just use a little rag to dip it, and let's go sand some wood. Okay, so we're gonna start out by just lightly rubbing on the purple dye. It's super windy, so I'm gonna be extra careful. And you just kind of rub it around into it. Just to show you, I got some blue dye on here. So I'm just going with acetone and cleaning that off, and it comes right off. So see, I got a little bit right here, but it doesn't really matter because when you're done with your layer of primer, you want to actually go through, put blue dye on top of that and sand it down to where 80% isn't showing. Now that we're going to get to sanding, I'm going to be using my generator. And make sure that the power cord that you have is correct to be strong enough for the sander. I know it's kind of redundant, but as a beginner, it's important to know those little things. So for sanding, I'm using a 220 grit sand. Sorry, not 220, my bad. 80. 220 is for the epoxy that I'm going to smooth over, which is fine. So you're going to use 80 grit. I'll be sanding, since my grain goes this way, I'm going to be sanding in circular motions this way. So make sure you watch which way your grain goes on the wood. Otherwise you can fuck up your roof. But to start, just to show, like right here, for example, there's some exposed fiberglass. I'm going to kind of avoid that area. And any places with exposed fiberglass to not sand as much. Just to show you kind of what I mean, for example, I sanded, and then you see how here it just, I can sand a little bit more here, but for example, this is fiberglass, this is fiberglass, so I'm not, so there's some points you're gonna see that aren't as purple, or more purple, because I couldn't sand any further because of the fiberglass. But for example, a spot like this, I can sand that to where 80% of the blue is gone, and that's safe. So that's just tips for people that I was told by the original owner and the builder of the boat to do. Okay, so about 80% of it's gone. As you can tell, some parts are a little bit more purple because there's fiberglass here, but I lightly sanded it. This is pretty much what it should look like when you're done. It should look like so. Okay. So today we're going to be using All Grip. This is the best product you can get on the market for boat paint. And we're going to start out with a 2-part primer. It's a 1-to-1, so make sure when you use it all right away. So I'm going to mix up only a certain amount that I need for that one section, and we're going to apply this primer. You also want to let it sit for 10 minutes. So the tip and trick that I use to mix paint is I kind of grab that bottom residue part where a lot of it's just kind of sitting at the bottom, and I kind of let it drip back into it and swirl it around while it drips. I feel like it breaks up the bonds better to mix in a little bit easier. And then after from that, you can start kind of mixing it around. Any spills that you get on your boat, for example, you can use acetone to clean that up too. It's really important you make sure all of this is mixed really, really well before you use it. So I'm feeling pretty good about that texture. So I'm going to grab my paint cup, and I'm just going to look at pint stuff just to kind of help me ratio out the 1-to-1. And you want to use this same day. You can't store it, the paint. You have to use it all. So I'm pouring to that 8-ounce line. And then we're gonna grab the epoxy primer converter. You're gonna add the same ratio. So I did 8 ounces, I'm gonna do another 8 ounces of this. So we have a total of 16 ounces of paint. Once you mix it, just let it sit for about 10 minutes. And your primer will be ready. I'm applying the primer. But just gonna start getting it done and see how it goes. So I'm gonna hurry up and get the next section.